Hello students, if you want to see my introduction video, you will find it in the last 1 minute of this video, and if you want to see some of my other videos, you can get the link in the description of this video. This is my third video on this topic, permutations and combinations. In the first video I covered exercise 7.1 where I took the concepts of multiplication rule and addition rule. And in the second video, I covered exercise 7.2, which deals with factorial, the concept of factorial. So, before starting today's concept, I'll do a quick recap of the contents of previous two videos. In the first video, I told about multiplication rule and addition rule. Now, multiplication rule, I'll tell here about two events, and that will extend to any number of events. The rule will apply to any number of events, but the concept tells us that if there are m ways in which an event can occur and following it another event can occur in say n ways, then both the events will occur in m into n ways. I am saying both the events, that means and event m and event n will both occur in succession in m into n ways. Now if there are three events, it will be m into n into p ways. If there are more, the same logic will apply to any number of events. Basically, all the events have to occur one after the other in succession. All the events have to take place one after the other. And addition rule says that if an event can occur in x ways independently and another event takes place in y ways again independently, that means not in succession, not one after the other. It's basically either or. Either event x will take place or event y will take place. So how many number of ways will both the events x and y, both the events, in how many ways can they take place? If they are occurring one at a time, not both together. If they are occurring one at a time, either x or y event will occur at a time. So then total number of ways in which x is also occurring and y is also occurring, not simultaneously, separately and independently. That how do we identify? Basically it is identified with the help of this word either or. So either x will take place or y will take place. Here m will take place and n will take place. Both will occur together. Here either x will take place or y will take place. If you go through my first video, I have explained it in great detail, and I have covered some questions also on this. One example on addition rule and many examples on multiplication rule I have covered in that video. So here I just wanted to give a brief idea so that we will apply the same concepts here in permutation. At that time we don't have any problem. So for that purpose I just gave a brief idea about these concepts once again. And in factorial notation, exercise 7.2, it's just a way of calculating. It's about a notation, way of writing a particular sequence. Say it is, if we have to say 1 into 3 into 4 into 5 and so on up to n natural numbers. I'm talking about natural numbers. So if we have to write a continued product of 1 into 2 into 3 up to n numbers, then there is a way of writing it. There is a notation for it which we call n factorial. Factorial n or n factorial. There are two ways of writing this. So this is nothing. There is nothing more in this concept. Factorial is just a notation, the way of writing. We will find a lot of use of this concept in this exercise and in other exercises. So with this, now I'll come to the concept which I am focusing in this video. I am covering exercise 7.3, and for that we need to see the concept of permutation. Now permutation, basically it is based on the same multiplication rule, but there are certain variations in which we cannot apply multiplication rule, and at that time we will know the real importance of the concept of permutations. But in order to understand the logic or to understand the origin of this formula of permutation, we will have to go back to our concept of multiplication rule. First of all, let us see what permutation means. Permutation, I am not talking about permutations, I am talking about permutation. So, a permutation is an arrangement in a definite order of a number of objects taken some or all at a time. Basically, permutation is nothing but arrangement. And the total number of such arrangements, now this S comes into being. Here, when I talk about number of arrangements, one permutation means one arrangement. And when I talk about total number of such possible arrangements, then I say permutations. And for that, we have a notation like this, NPR, and it is read as the number of permutation of n different objects taken R at a time. So these are the total number of objects and how many of these objects are taken at a time for this arrangement, that is given by R. So let us see an example of this and then you will get more clarity into what I am saying. Right now I am just giving a concept. Permutation simply means arrangement, and this is what we have done in multiplication rule as well. In exercise 7.1 there were questions on making a 3-digit or a 4-digit number with the given digits. That was nothing but arrangements, because when you are making a number with 3 digits and you keep changing the position of the digits, the number keeps changing. So that means arrangement is important there. The same arrangement is called as permutation. Only thing is it's an extension. There are a few more addition in this concept, addition to multiplication rule. So now the formula for NPR is n factorial. Here is where this concept of factorial is being used now. So NPR is nothing but n factorial upon n minus r factorial. Now when I explain with the help of example, this will be very easy to understand. Let us take an example. I am giving you the logic behind this formula and the meaning of this formula and how to apply this formula. How many 3-digit numbers can be formed using digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? This is a question you can very easily do with the help of multiplication rule. But let us understand the wordings of this question. They're saying how many 3-digit numbers can be formed using digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First of all, if we have to make numbers, that means arrangement is important, because 1, 2, 3 and 3, 2, 1 are obviously two different numbers and two different arrangements. So basically two different arrangements give rise to two different numbers. So arrangement is important here. That is why permutation, the formula of permutation will be applied here. So now, how many 3-digit numbers can be formed using digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? There are 6 objects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the 6 objects from which we have to make 3-digit numbers. That means we have to take 3 at a time. We have to take 3 objects at a time from the given 6 objects. So n is here 6 and number of objects taken at a time are 3. 3 are taken at a time, so r is equal to 3. So if we talk about this notation, NPR, so if we have to use this notation, then how will we interpret this question? We will say that 6 objects, out of the 6 objects, we have to use 3 objects at a time, r is equal to 3. So now how many arrangements or how many permutations are possible? Okay, now if I say this, how many arrangements are possible using 3 objects at a time out of the given 6 objects, That simply means filling of 3 places with 6 objects. So this is something that we have seen in exercise 7.1 multiplication rule, that first place can be filled in 6 ways, second place can be filled in 5 ways, and third place can be filled in 4 ways. So multiplication, using multiplication rule, that the first place, once it is filled, the second place can be filled in the remaining 5 ways, and the third place can be filled in the remaining 4 ways. Repetition is not allowed. This is assumed here because this formula works only when repetition is not allowed. So when repetition is not allowed, the number of ways in which the first place can be filled is 6. The number of ways in which the second place can be filled is 5, and the number of ways in which the third place can be filled is 4. So using multiplication rule, we get it 6 into 5 into 4. Number of ways or number of 3-digit number that can be found using digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very simply, we have used multiplication rule and we have found our answer. Now, this is the same as writing 6 into 5 into 4. This is our answer. Now, if I write 3 factorial here, that means multiplying and dividing by 3 factorial. And this we can write as 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 upon 3 factorial. And this is nothing but 6 factorial upon 3 factorial is equal to 6 factorial upon 6 minus 3 factorial is equal to n factorial upon n minus r factorial. So this is how we have derived this one. Because the derivation is not important here. I just explained the logic, how this formula comes into being and how is it applied in the numericals. Once you know the logic, then it will be easy for you to remember and to apply in various problems. So this, using the multiplication rule, the answer was 6 into 5 into 4, and using the permutation formula also you get the answer as 6 into 5 into 4. Because if now I have given you the logic behind this formula, so we can straightforward, if we can use this formula, it will simply be NPR is equal to 6P3 is equal to 6 factorial upon 6 minus 3 factorial. This would also give the same answer which we have derived using multiplication rule. Here you will say that there is no difference between multiplication rule and permutation. So obviously permutation, the formula for permutation is derived from the logic of multiplication rule. So here it seems to be same. But when we apply this in various other situations where you will find that multiplication rule cannot work or multiplication rule will not give the desired result, there you will come to know the exact importance of formula of permutation or the concept of permutation. So this, when we will solve the exercise question, it will be more clear. Right now we will see a few more cases of permutations. First of all, I'll give an example to use this particular formula once more so that the application part is more clear, and then I'll give you further cases that can occur in questions of permutations. So let us see another example. So let us see this example. How many 4-digit numbers can be formed by using the digits 1 to 9 if repetition of digit is not allowed? So we just now saw that the number of arrangements or number of permutations of n objects taken r at a time is given by NPR is equal to n factorial upon n minus r factorial. Here simply we'll apply the formula that because there are 9 objects, digits 1 to 9, and we have to form 4-digit numbers from these 9 digits. So total n objects, which is 9 objects, are available to us, from where we have to make 4-digit arrangements or 4-digit numbers. So obviously n is equal to 9 and r is equal to 4. So we'll straight away apply this formula and we get 9 factorial upon 9 minus 4 factorial, which is 5 factorial, and we get the answer as this. This is just the application of formula. And now I'll here mention a few special cases of this formula of permutations. In case r is 0, it means n objects taken none at a time, means there is only one way in which no item can be arranged or no object can be arranged. So this is a theoretical concept, np0, but there is one way, np0 is equal to 1. And secondly, the second extreme is if all the objects are taken at a time, that means n objects taken all at a time. Simply if we substitute this in the given formula, we get n factorial upon n minus, instead of r we'll write n, so n minus n is 0 factorial, and we know that 0 factorial is defined as equal to 1. So n factorial upon 0 factorial is equal to n factorial ways. So these are the two special and extreme cases of the formula of NPR, of the formula of permutation. And now with this, we'll see the special cases of different question types, basically I can say, in permutations in this exercise that you will come across. So the questions, the types can be, the first we have already seen, permutation of n objects taken r at a time, repetition not allowed. When repetition is not allowed, in that case it is NPR is equal to n factorial upon n minus r factorial. Okay. And now when repetition is allowed, the second variation here is if repetition is allowed. In this case, in the previous example, what we saw that there are 4 places to be filled by 9 objects. So the first place can be filled by 9, second by 8, and third by 7, fourth by 6. 9 into 7 into 9 into 8 into 7 into 6 ways, because repetition was not allowed in this example. So the second place could be filled in 8, and the third in 7, and fourth in 6 ways. But if repetition is allowed, then obviously the first place can be filled in 9 ways, the second place can be filled in again 9 ways, and so on. All the places can be filled in 9 ways because the digits can be repeated. Whatever digit we are placing in the first box, we can place the same digit in the second box. But in the previous case, it was not allowed. So in the first place, if we filled a particular digit, we could not use it in the second place. So the second place had less number of possibilities, one less number of possibilities, one less number of ways in which it could be filled. So 9 into 8 into 7 into 6 when repetition was not allowed, and when repetition is allowed, then 9 into 9 into 9 into 9 is equal to 9 raised to power 4. That means there are 4 places to be filled, so it is 9 raised to power 4. If there are r places to be filled, it is simply n raised to power r. So this is the logic behind the formula. Basically, you have to remember this. If it is repetition is not allowed, then NPR is equal to n factorial upon n minus r factorial. If the repetition is allowed, the formula for permutations is number of permutation is equal to n raised to power r. Finally, the next case is permutations when all the objects are not distinct. Now here, from 1 to 9, all the digits are different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All the digits are different. But there can be cases when all the objects are not different. So here you will find the real importance of the application of formula of permutations. Multiplication rule is not easy to apply here, and so here the formula is n factorial upon p1 factorial p2 factorial. I'll tell you what it means. Let us first come to example of this, and from this example I'll tell you the generalized formula for this kind of case when the objects are not all different, a few objects are same. For example, in example 9, find all the number of permutations of the letters of the word Allahabad. Now here How many? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 letters, 9 objects, out of which there are 1, 2, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 A's and 2 L's. So there are 4 A's, 4 objects are same. There are 4 A's and 2 L's. Another 2 objects are same. So the objects are not all distinct. So this is a special case. In cases of permutations, first thing we have to assume in these kind of cases that all are taken at a time. This is not an assumption. This is obvious that all are taken at a time. Nothing is mentioned how many taken at a time. R is not given here. So it is basically all n. R is equal to n. All objects are taken at a time. Assumption here is repetition is not allowed. When it is not mentioned, because in case of repetition, when it is allowed, the formula is totally different. So obviously repetition is not allowed. That is the assumption that we have to make. And now, if there are 9 distinct objects, and there if we have to calculate the number of permutations possible, then the formula would be this: n factorial ways. If there are n objects, all the objects are distinct and all are taken at a time, then the number of permutations are npn or n factorial ways. So if the objects were not different, then the formula would be n factorial. The answer would be n factorial. But here there are certain objects which are same. So now what logic we will apply, I'll tell you that. So here if there are 4 A's and 2 L's, now if these 4 A's were not same, if they were different, then how many permutations would be possible in these cases? 4 factorial. There are 4 objects taken all at a time. So number of permutations possible would be 4 factorial. This is one important thing, that if these objects were not same, if these objects were distinct, then there would be 4 factorial ways in which these could be arranged. But here all these are same, so any kind of arrangement would be same. If we take any A at any position, the arrangement will remain same. So this is just one arrangement, but if these were distinct, then 4 factorial arrangements would be possible. So if we are taking this 9 letters and if we have to find the total number of permutation, if we say the total number of permutation is n factorial or 9 factorial, then we are wrong, because this one arrangement we are taking 4 factorial times. If we take this as 9 factorial, that means we are considering all objects as distinct. If we are considering all objects as distinct, that means these 4 A's we are considering as distinct. And if these 4 A's we are considering as distinct, that means there are 4 factorial additional ways we have taken instead of just one way. It should have been just one arrangement, and we are considering it to be 4 factorial if we are considering the answer as 9 factorial. So to get the correct answer, we will divide this 9 factorial by 4 factorial. Similarly, there are 2 L's. If we are taking these 2 L's as distinct, then there are 2 factorial arrangements among these L's. L can be placed at various places, but whether L is placed, if say we say this is L1 and this is as L2, if we put this L2 here and L1 here, it will not make any difference. Similarly, if L is placed here and L is placed here, it will not be different. If L1 is placed here and L2 is placed here, and if we change the position again, that will be the same, it will mean the same. So what I'm trying to say is that if we club these two together, then if they were different, and if we say that they are different, then they would be arranged among themselves in 2 factorial ways. Actually, there is just one possible arrangement, because L both are same. So actually there is just one possible arrangement, but we are considering 2 factorial ways if we are taking all the objects as distinct. So by the same logic, we are taking 2 factorial times more. So we have to divide this by 2 factorial. So it is basically very simple. If there are certain objects of same kind, so we have to divide n factorial by those repetitions. For example, if permutation when all objects are not distinct, that means if there are n objects out of which p1 are of one kind, p2 are of other kind, p3 are of other kind, and so on, pk are of some other kind. So the total permutations would be n factorial upon p1 factorial, p2 factorial, and so on up to pk factorial. This first I have shown the application, and then I am telling you the formula that we have applied here. I first told you the logic why this formula is applied, or how this formula comes into being, and then I have given the formula. So basically it's if the objects are repeating, this is the formula that we have to use. So now when we'll use these concepts in exercise questions, then you'll get further clarity on this concept, and the more you practice, the more clarity will come. I'll just, before closing this lecture, I'll just revise the whole concept, and in the next lecture I'll cover the questions of this exercise 7.3. I first told you the first case was when a permutation of n objects taken r at a time, when repetition is not allowed, is given by npr is equal to n factorial upon n minus r factorial. If repetition is allowed, then this becomes npr is equal to n raised to power r. I gave the logic for the same. And finally, there is another case when permutation of all the objects, when the objects are not, all the objects are not distinct, some of the objects are similar. So in that case, we use this formula n factorial upon p1 factorial into p2 factorial, which means if there are n objects for which the permutation is required and of which p1 are of one kind, p2 are of another kind, and so on, then we use this formula n factorial upon p1 factorial into p2 factorial, and so on. You have seen one example here where there were 4 A's and 2 L's, and there were in all 9 objects. So in the numerator we keep n as 9 factorial, and in the denominator instead of p1 p2 we have kept 4 factorial and 2 factorial. So let us solve the question. In the next video I'll cover the exercise, I'll solve the exercise questions, which will make the whole concept a lot more clear. So that's all for this lecture. Hello students, I am Anurag Gupta, MBA Finance, a topper of University Department Pune, and I am also a CFA from ICFA University. After spending a few years in financial sector, I left a lucrative corporate career to pursue my passion for teaching. I have been a top ranker in various exams at school, college, university, and even at all India level. And I have consistently produced top rankers from my institute for the past 8 years. And here I must mention that many of my students who were average performers till their standard 10 exams showed excellent results in their standard 11 and standard 12 exams, and even now they are doing really well in their respective careers. Now, with a view to spread my knowledge to the maximum possible students, I have started teaching in online mode as well. Initially, I will bring videos on maths, accounts, economics for the students of class 11 and 12, where I'll cover the entire syllabus in a very systematic way. I'm sure you'll enjoy the process of learning in my lectures. So welcome to my channel.